Hello and welcome to another video. Today we will be going over my top 10 favorite Skylanders of all time, or this moment. So, stick around to find out who they are, and I'm gonna guess that you can guess who a couple of them are, judging by how they are in the favorite lock. So, there's a couple hints, but you'll be surprised to see who the rest are. So stick around and find out.
Blink and destroy.
At number 10 we have Drobot and Drobit, which is kind of cheating because it's two different characters, but they're literally the same character, just one's mini. So even though it is 11, they're both number 10 since they're pretty much the same character.
Shrednut defeated.
The reason Drobot and Drobit are at number 10 is because Tech Element is one of my favorite elements, and they happen to be in the Tech Element. Their designs are cool. Their Drobot's really broken in the original game, SSA, and I mean Drobit's just a smaller Drobot, so of course he'd be one of my favorites, if Drobot's one of my favorites. But even though they are kind of a mindless character to play by just holding down the X button on Xbox, they're really good. I mean, Drobit's murdering enemies right now, so yes, that is the reason Drobot and Drobit are at number 10.
Up track to attack.
And now we move on to Magna Charge, who is a kind of interesting character. Because, I mean, his blaster does a lot of damage, and then if you overheat it, you shoot off a even bigger blast, which is just really good because it knocks back enemies, does a lot of damage, and then plus, with his bottom half, he has speed if you press B on Xbox. So he gets faster and he can pick up enemies and just completely throw them. So yeah, Magna Charge is a fun character. He also has a magnet on his head, so he can pick smaller enemies up and throw them into other enemies, or just throw them off the map, because you know, that's also fun. He is swapped with the other swappers to make combinations like Magna Bomb or Magna Shift, Magna Zone, and then for other combinations that can help slower characters move faster, like you got Night Charge, besides Night Shift Dash, then you got like Free Charge. You just got a bunch of combinations you can do to improve certain characters by making them faster with Charge, or giving other bottoms a kind of overpowered top with Magna. Kind of like how Magna Shift can bring Magna Charge, or Shift can bring Magna back to life because Shift has the revive upgrade. So now moving on to number 8.
Slice and dice.
And number 8 is Chop Chop, which is kind of a little bit of a hit or miss for some people. Some people like Chop Chop, some people hate Chop Chop. I like Chop Chop because, well, he's a melee character, and those are some of my favorite characters to play in any game. So that's why I like Chop Chop. Also, Twin Blade Chop Chop's got double the sword, which makes him automatically even better to me. But yeah, Chop Chop's got some fun combos he can do. His shield can reduce incoming damage pretty fast, and whenever you charge up his Twin Blade move, then he goes just insane and murders anything around him. So yeah, number 8 is Chop Chop, and now we will move to number 7.
Time to shine!
Spotlight's kind of an interesting pick for me, because when I got both Spotlight and Blackout, I didn't really like Spotlight that much, because all I pretty much did was use Blackout, and when I did use Spotlight, she just kind of died. But I started filming a new series called the Favorite Lock 2.0, which kind of changed my mind about Spotlight, because her I-beams can do incredible damage. They can do up to 120 damage in Trap Team, and then the rings to like kind of make a barrier around yourself if you get them properly thrown is really fun to do. And then, even though her Y attack, third attack isn't that great, it's still kind of fun to use. And then just pretty much just use her primary attack, and she kind of cleans house pretty easy. So yeah, number 7 is Spotlight, and now moving on to number 6.
Silent but deadly.
Number 6 is Stealth Elf, which is once again another melee character, so I definitely like Stealth Elf as much as I like Chop Chop, but I prefer Stealth Elf slightly just because she's faster and that she can heal. That's pretty much the only thing that makes Stealth Elf better than Chop Chop. And Stealth Elf Wow Pow, it isn't cooler than Twin Blade Chop Chops, but it's just nice to have. Send a Tiger, it does a lot of damage, and then just Stealth Elf's able to heal herself, she can dash quickly, and she deals a lot of damage, so that's number 6, Stealth Elf. Now moving on to number 5.
Out of sight.
Number 5 is Enigma, and he's on this list for a couple of reasons. One of them is that he can easily almost one-shot Trap Team Kaos on any difficulty. 2, his combos are very good. 3, he's really fast whenever he goes, whenever he floats away. And 4, he's just a really fun character to use. And also his figure looks pretty cool being transparent on half of it. And the fact that he has no head kind of makes it interesting character. Enigma is just one of those characters for me that he's just a really fun character to use. And I always just have fun using Enigma. It doesn't matter if he's low on health, full on health, literally anything. He's just a fun character to use. Any fight, Trap Team Kaos, Superchargers Chaos, not Imaginators Chaos. That's just fake. But Enigma is just one of those characters I can use at really any point and have fun, like the rest of these 4 characters that are coming up.
Feel the fire.
Up next we have my favorite Supercharger character, which is Spitfire, or more specifically, Dark Spitfire. You'll notice with a couple of these that I prefer the variants over the normal, like Dark Spitfire for example here, which it's just because I think the color scheme looks cooler. That's all. That's really all. But Spitfire is a very good character because he's really fast with his teleport ability. He can summon fire nados that just can decimate enemies in games that aren't Imaginators. And he's just a really fast character with his combos. And he's just really fun to play. So that's why Spitfire is my number 4 spot. Now we are moving on to number 3.
Darkness falls.
At number 3, we have none other than Blackout. Now, Blackout is a fun character for me because, once again, he's a really fast character. Whenever you jump up in the air and press X, he does a spin move. But when he hits enemies or hits anything, he kind of goes faster. And then his Black Hole move is good in any game, but Trap Team really. Because the Black Hole is super hard to make in Trap Team because you have to stand still. It has to hit in the exact spot, while in every other game you just have to shoot it, and as long as it hits, it makes a Black Hole. Blackout is also very broken in Trap Team, where if you do a certain move, then he literally will not take any damage at all, as you are seeing in the gameplay here. I'm hitting Chaos's force field sometimes, and it does nothing. So Blackout's just a fun character overall, so that's why he's at number 3. His design's also really cool, and then I really like Blackout.
Croak and roll.
Now we're on number 2, and it's Dark Snapshot, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people saw coming, but they didn't expect him to be number 2. They probably expect him to be number 1, since he is my channel mascot. And you'd be right, he was my number one. Until this year, which it got taken over by my second favorite of all time, which is now my favorite of all time. But let's just talk about Snapshot now. Snapshot is just a character that I find really useful in a lot of situations because he's one of 3 ranged trap masters. He is really good, he does a lot of damage, and besides his third attack, which I'm using right now, he does a lot of damage, he's very quick, and whenever you charge a shot, it does a crap ton of damage to the enemies. It normally takes them out pretty quick. And then his second attack's also really good at clearing out areas, but yeah, Snapshot is number 2 now, and number 1 might be obvious at this point.
Your time is up.
Grim Creeper has always been one of my favorite Skylanders of all time, but he never reached the top of the pinnacle until this year when he became my number 1 Skylander of all time, beating out Snapshot, who's been on top ever since the release of Trap Team. So it's kind of a big deal for myself. But Grim Creeper, he has such a fun moveset to me. His design's awesome. He's got a fun moveset. He's got a kind of goofy personality. And I mean, he was the original Skylander with a scythe before Hoodsickle, which Hoodsickle's one of my favorites, but he's not on this list. But he was the original scythe. His name's a pun off of Grim Reaper, obviously. And I just think he's a really cool Skylander, and he's always been one of my favorites. Even when I had him on the wrong path, he was still one of my favorites. But now, getting to use Grim Creeper to his full effect, he's really good. And even though he doesn't have the range like Snapshot, he's a melee character. And as you heard earlier, melee characters are my favorite characters to play in video games. And that is my 10 favorite Skylanders. So thanks for stopping by and checking out my top 10 favorite Skylanders, and thanks for checking out my little channel if you decide to watch more of my videos. So that's it for now, and I will see you all in the next video.
Chef Pepper.